A little bit early. Can't see anything though. Good morning. It's a nice sunny day here in Halifax. I know we're a couple minutes early, but we got our coffee and just heading down the street here in Spring Garden. But this is our first time doing anything live, so we gotta figure out how all this works as we go, so please bear with us. I can't really see anything on the screen there anyways, but here, hold on one sec. Here, you take this. Get our coffee sorted out here as we go.
Yeah.
Have a nice day, you guys.
You as well. And yours was a hot chocolate?
Yep.
Here, I'll put this in the garbage here.
You can't see the screen and the chat at the same time.
Oh yeah?
So that little button right there, the little chat icon there,
Yeah.
that'll show you the chat box.
Oh, okay.
So then if you tap on that,
Oh, look at that.
there's nothing
Alright.
there right now, but
Oh, we'll figure this out as we go. So, but yeah, I mentioned earlier about in an earlier video I mentioned about panhandlers and homeless in Halifax, and it's actually quite bad. Almost every block here has somebody panhandling on it. I'm not sure if they're all homeless, but I don't necessarily like to give them funds because you never know what their situation is or where they're going to use it. So, but I don't mind buying them a coffee every now and then and a cookie or maybe a gift card for a couple bucks here and there. But it's a sad state to get into that situation. I imagine it's quite hard to get back out again once you're there as well. So this is the main thoroughfare shopping district of Halifax. There's our new public library in the back there. They complained quite a bit about the design of that library because it was so new and different. But once it was built, everybody loved it. So
got some stuff coming in.
yeah, it looks that way. Now it looks like we got some people joining us, but very hard to see the comments on the screen at this point. But we'll try and stop here and there to double check. But good morning, good evening, everybody. Hope you're having a great day. Sorry about the shaky hands. The boy and I did a big workout this weekend, so the legs and arms are a little bit sore.
Let's see this shaking up together. You want me to take it?
You hold for a sec. See how long you could hold it steady. This is our. Here. Can you just switch the camera?
Yeah.
No worries. This is our old library here. That's closed down since the new one built. But also underneath this one, as far as Halifax history is concerned, this is also the area where they used to have a burial ground for the lower class and people that couldn't really afford or didn't have any family or anything to bury them. So there's a lot of it's understood that there's a lot of mass graves underneath this area as well that haven't been exhumed and removed anywhere else. So that's the story anyway.
Some more people saying hello. One person said interesting.
It is interesting, isn't it? But it really is. It's that stuff you're walking over it every day and you really have no idea that it's there. Our statue of...
I'm gonna switch hands.
See, it gets shaky after a while.
I was using my non-dominant hand.
Our statue of Winston Churchill. it's not here for any particular reason other than the fact that we are part of the Commonwealth in Canada. So he was quite a figure in the during the war. So it's just something that they put up.
Somebody asked, "What do you miss about Finland?" Do you wanna?
Food. The food. That's the main thing. The food was just phenomenal in Finland. I was overwhelmingly surprised how good it was just all the time. Like even the regular things.
Somebody said that jacket is dope.
Thanks.
It went away quick, but I think someone asked if we have whales there. So here.
Yes, we do have whales. I'm not sure exactly what kind of whales always come in, but they have been seen in the harbour, and they do regular whale watching tours out into the open ocean. But just out of the harbour, they do whale watching tours there as well.
I've seen a few humpback. I think humpback and blue whale. I think we get most often here.
A lot of nice old churches in Halifax. This one actually is classified as a basilica because the Pope did visit here, so it got its basilica designation.
Somebody just asked, where are we? We're in Halifax, Nova Scotia, Canada.
Just after 11 o'clock in the morning.
Somebody asked if we follow NHL teams.
I don't personally have a team, but I like watching the big games, like the playoffs and that. That's about the extent of my hockey following. So this here on our right now is the old burial grounds in Halifax. A lot of history in there as well. They're doing a lot of work to try and preserve the stones, covering a lot of the older, more frail ones up in the wintertime as well.
Somebody said no crosswalks, question mark.
Yes, there is crosswalks, but just being a rebel this morning.
Any Finnish coffee house in Halifax?
No, there isn't.
I think there is that one restaurant though. I don't know if it's Finnish, but it's called Utso and there's a picture of a bear. So there's something.
Yeah, I'm not sure. There's a nice German, what's it called? Gingerbread house.
Yeah.
They have a lot of nice baked goods. That's about as close as far as how good the food and baked goods are as I found in Halifax. There is I'm not sure if it's Scandinavian or Nordic group that they have in the Halifax area, which gets together every now and then, and they have little markets and stuff. But that's only once a year maybe that they do it. So it's not very often, and the crew isn't that big. And I've been here over 20 years, and I've run into 4 Finlanders. 2 that I worked with very briefly, and another 2 during the New Year's Finland-Canada game, hockey game for World Juniors that I went to. And everybody was worried I was going to get beat up because I was the only one there in a Finland jersey.
Somebody asked if there's much of an Asian minority here.
Fair bit. A lot of Chinese population coming in right now as well, with a lot of money coming in to Canada overall. They were coming into Vancouver quite a bit, buying up a lot of properties and that. Really nice people. I worked with several of them. Super great. And but there a lot of families are sending their kids over as well to come to school and that. Halifax has multiple universities. I think we got like 6 or 7 major universities in Nova Scotia. I'd have to double check the number, but there's quite a few. And so a lot of students coming over, and it's really nice to have that diversity in the population as well.
Somebody asked if there's any public saunas.
No, there's hardly any private saunas, let alone public saunas. Infrared saunas, these pool and spa places are selling these little infrared box saunas that you sit in the closet and microwaves you. I've never used one myself, but also on the old burial ground. So we've in recent recent months now, or is it still weeks? But the insurrection in Washington when they stormed the Capitol, they kept referring on the news to the War of 1812 when the British had stormed Washington, and they did in fact take over Washington, and the gentleman that was in charge was this one right here, Major General George Robert Ross, excuse me. So he led the takeover of Washington at that time, and they actually went in and they had dinner in the White House, and then when they were done their dinner and everything, before they left, they set it on fire and burned down the White House. But the new one is very nice. It's really nice. This one's a great story. I want to do a video on after. I got the picture hanging in my living room, actually, a print of the two ships, Chesapeake and the Shannon. Sorry, Shannon and Chesapeake. British ship that went down to
Boston.
Boston, challenged the Chesapeake to a fight, and they took over the ship and sailed it back into Halifax. That's why you get the two ships coming in. The British. Yeah, I'm sorry, that would be the Chesapeake, because they sailed the British flag over top of the American flag, showing that it was captured. But that's quite a story. I want to do a video on that at some point as well. So, but really, in the summer they have students that do tour guides of the graveyard here. A lot of history there, a lot of interesting stuff. I remember I went through there one time. On the tombstone it said, "Here lies so and so, who was willfully murdered by so and so," and had a little story about this guy who was killed by another guy and buried in that cemetery. They're also doing, you can see the containers over here. Students have been doing some archaeological work and doing shallow scans. I don't know exactly the name of it, like a radar scan, Doppler scan or something. So it only goes down like a certain number of feet into the ground, but gives you a good picture on what's underneath. So that's been going on. I haven't seen any of the results yet. Yeah, going a little slow here, but over here, tomorrow's Commonwealth Day. Canada's part of the Commonwealth. This is our Nova Scotia Governor General's house. What was his name? I had it written down. Arthur LeBlanc. Honorable Arthur LeBlanc. I met him a couple times. Really nice guy.
I met him 5 times now.
Yeah, but really nice guy. Gets around to a lot of events. Very sociable. We've gone there for New Year's levy a couple times. Really nice guy. Does a great job. But that's where he gets to live as long as he's Governor General and representing the Queen here in Nova Scotia.
Hold on a second. There's a few interesting questions that I missed. So
Okay,
I'm just gonna...
let's scan through the questions as we go. Can we walk at the same time?
Wait. Are we near the Titanic graves?
No, those are over in Fairview. That's about maybe a 10-minute drive, 30-40 minute walk from here. But yeah, we should hit those someday too.
Yeah. Titanic is probably the second most well-known thing for Halifax, besides the explosion. Oh yeah. White sidewalk.
Salt in Halifax. It's their favorite in the wintertime. They'll lay salt on top of everything. Wait, I'm gonna switch the camera around for a bit.
I missed. There we go.
Nope. Oh.
I hit it twice.
All right, we're still working this out, but we're just going to head down the hill here to the actual waterfront. I didn't have anything done up for the Suomi Sunnuntai that I've been doing the last few weeks. That those little short videos have taken a lot more work than I expected. It takes almost a full day to just edit those subtitles onto the screen. But one of my main points with one of my main goals with doing that is to try and get the actual word to come up when I'm saying it. You know, so somebody like if Lex here is watching it and trying to listen to the Finnish words, he's actually hearing the word as it comes up, so he knows which sound is making which word, as opposed to maybe thinking that the that I do so often is actually part of the language. Still using crosswalks. Halifax is
Tiny roads.
Halifax is huge on their crosswalks. But unfortunately, they're also big on teaching kids that they absolutely have the right of way. Kids that just wander out onto the crosswalk without making sure that it's safe to cross and there's enough time for the people to stop.
Is this the Roy?
No, the Roy's down there.
We should go to the Roy.
The Roy is a new condo building. So there's a condo building called the Roy and a condo building called the Alexander, which is this one. So we figured each of us has to buy a condo, myself in the Roy and him in the Alexander. I want to buy the condo building beside the Roy and change the name to the Rissanen. So there'll be the Roy and the Rissanen.
Isn't that the Alexander that's next to the Roy?
Well, this is the Alexander right here.
Yeah. Then isn't the Roy right next to it? Or is it
Roy, the Roy's a little further. This is this Alexander condo building here. That's a new condo building, but that's attached now to over here, which is the old Alexander Keith Brewery. All right, I'm gonna go back on there.
You want me to switch it around?
Yeah, just check for any questions.
Yeah. Someone asked for the name of the street.
That street? Well, this street that runs along here is Lower Water Street. I'm not sure what that street was that we just came down. But we just crossed Lower Water Street down onto the waterfront. This in here now is Bishop's Landing, which is it's a condo building. It's a condo building on the top 4 floors, and then it's all commercial on the lower level, restaurants and small boutique shops. Really nice little spot to have a condo down on the waterfront.
People are watching you on a map, and we just hit 101 viewers.
Nice. Welcome everybody. Good morning if you're just joining us. We're down on the Halifax waterfront here. It's still a little quiet. It's about 0 degrees, but normally in the summertime it gets quite busy here.
Should we loop around and walk through the brewery? Is it open?
These are new dining facilities here at the Bicycle Thief that they're putting out on the patio to have more room and be able to still run some kind of business. I've seen a few of these up and running in different areas. Let's go to the end out here with the light poles. The Halifax waterfront is it has been really redeveloped a lot over the last few years. Even when I came here, the waterfront wasn't really that much to see. It was still very much a port city when I got here. So
Don't fall in.
They've really done a lot of work to beautify the waterfront, and it's a $1 billion business down here on the waterfront right now. Well, not right now, because the cruise ship industry died last summer and they canceled it for this summer as well. So what's happening is that because the cruise ship tourism industry is canceled last summer and this summer, they're doing a lot of work, like you could see over there. We might walk by later. They're tearing up a lot of the old piers and replacing them, since they're not going to be disrupting too much of the tourist industry that's already cut back already.
There's a few questions here. Have you managed to get that gin?
No, I haven't. But looking forward to trying that. Hopefully, Art trip to Finland last summer, got cancelled in June, got cancelled in August, got cancelled in December. Maybe this summer we might be able to get a trip to Finland and I'll be able to try it for once, but haven't been able to try it yet. It gets very hot here in the summertime. It actually melted these light poles and they just fell down on the ground.
I think there's a plaque for the artist that made them.
It's art.
Yeah. Yeah, it's behind us now. There was a couple more questions I missed. A few people are requesting you to go skinny dipping.
No.
Someone wants to know when spring starts in Halifax.
Spring is a little later in Halifax, actually. The weather systems that we get in Nova Scotia, we get the weather that comes up the east coast of the United States, which in the summertime brings up a lot of warm weather. But it also takes a long time for that Gulf Stream to warm up again in the spring. So it continues to bring a little bit cooler weather into the springtime. So our spring here generally comes a little later, but on the flip side, in the fall, it takes a long time for all that water that's coming up from the south to cool down. So it's bringing in a lot of nice warm weather. So we always get a really nice fall in Nova Scotia. We're lucky there, as long as the hurricanes miss us. We've been hit a couple times with hurricanes. The last two have been down to tropical storms by the time they hit us, but it still makes has a pretty good punch by the time it gets here. So. Any others on that? So this is the actual mouth of the harbour out here, which that would be facing south. So the actual harbour exits through the south. George's Island over there. Then the other coast side of the entrance of the harbour is just where you can see the container piers through the buildings there. So it's quite a narrow entrance into the harbour. And with the island, McNabb's Island over here, which was also
That one's George's.
George's and then McNabb's. George's Island, which was a British military fort, still a historical property. It's really great if you get a tour there. They got some of the big guns there still. But with the gun batteries that they had on the islands and on each side of the harbour, they could put a shot every meter around that harbour entrance. So it was going to be very difficult for anybody to get in. However, Halifax never did see conflict. Nobody, I guess, was the British and the French at the time, but nobody actually came and tried to invade Halifax.
Do you own a summer cabin?
No summer camps in Nova Scotia. Well, there is summer camps in Nova Scotia. A lot of people go to Prince Edward Island. That's very popular. We've done that several summers to go up there, but we don't have a place here in Nova Scotia. And then on the other side of our harbour, that's Dartmouth over on that side, which used to be its own city. Halifax was established 1749, somewhere in there, and then Dartmouth was established 1769, I think. 1769, they established a small town or settlement in Dartmouth. But then, I think it was about 30 years ago, they amalgamated on the other end of the basin. They have a town called Bedford. So the three, instead of the three municipalities always working against each other, they amalgamate into what now they call Halifax Regional Municipality. So that's all one city now that they call Halifax. So.
Somebody posted a few questions. How often do you visit Finland, and what would you recommend for Finnish people coming to Canada?
Good question. I only got to Finland once. I hope to start getting there a lot more. But here, let's flip it around again. Talk about this. Yeah, I only got to Finland once so far, and then, like I mentioned earlier, subsequent trips had gotten delayed. But hopefully, we'll be able to get there a lot more in the future. Then, coming to Canada is really, really big. It's. I remember my cousin, second cousin. They came for a visit one time, and they had asked if they could take a weekend and go from Ontario to Vancouver to see the mountains, and it's you can't unless you fly. You can do it if you fly, but it's to drive across the country. If you drove solid all the way across, it would take you about 4 or 5 days. That's pushing it. and driving 24 hours a day. So, but
A little over a week if you take it easy.
yeah, a little over a week and a half, you could make a nice trip out of it. But first thing I would recommend in Canada, if you're coming to Canada to see something, personally, I would recommend fly into Vancouver, fly over to Calgary, rent a convertible car, and then drive from Calgary through the mountains back to Vancouver and drop off the car. The mountains are absolutely amazing to see in person, and if you got a chance to see them in a convertible, so you don't have to peek out the window the whole time, they're even better. It's amazing. Second from that, I would recommend Ontario area. Northern Ontario is really nice, but not a lot to see there anymore, unfortunately. A lot of good fishing and hunting if you want to do that. But it's beautiful country, a lot of good, that's where I'm from originally. So a lot of, used to be a lot of Finnish population there. Thunder Bay still has quite a bit, but that whole population is getting a little thinner and older these days.
After this summer, I actually had a lot of people that I was working with last summer that were from that area, and almost all of them had some sort of Finnish connection, like some great uncle or something was Finnish.
That whole upper peninsula of Michigan and all around Lake Superior, very heavy Finnish population over the years. A lot of them moved there for the logging and mining. A lot of mining camps, a lot of logging camps. And that was, I think I mentioned it in my Finnish sauna culture video, but did I? But a lot of people, everybody wanted to be in the Finnish logging camps because they always built saunas, and they were the only camps that didn't have lice. So, but, all right, you want to check for questions?
All right. Somebody asked if you've ever been to an F1 race in Nova Scotia. They have some Finnish racers in those.
Formula One in Nova Scotia, I have not seen any Formula One races in Nova Scotia.
Somebody asked if we're near Gander. That's the airport city in Newfoundland.
Nope, that's quite a ways away in Newfoundland.
A little while north.
Yeah, quite a north. It gets rather cold there still.
Is there long distance bus systems?
Not very good ones. Not definitely not like they have in Finland, but they're quite sporadic, so they're not as easy to use as I found the ones over in Finland.
Do you have any particular favorite bands at the moment?
Not one in particular. I'm very diverse in my music. It depends what mood I'm in for what I want to listen to. So it all depends what kind of mood I'm in. If we're working out at home, we'll put on something a little heavier, some heavy metal. You know, sometimes working, I'll put on some classical, for background music, or in the evening I'll put on some jazz or something, or just have, something playing in the background for background noise. Yeah, here you can see the buildings a little better. So this one up here was Alexander. That's new. That's the old Maritime telephone building that's been there for quite some time. Then the Royce, the one in behind with the siding's not quite finished, and I can't remember what this one's called. That's an apartment building, actually.
The new one?
Yeah. But in,
no, that's not the new
in
one.
Halifax, what they have is in the middle of Halifax, they have what they call Citadel Hill, which was a British military fort, and it was the predominant structure in Halifax. And from there, they had the gun emplacements to be able to defend the whole city from that hill. And what happened is, from that hill, you could see everything. So what they established for prosperity was to have view planes that you could always be able to see the harbor and the ocean from that hill. But as progression goes and development happens, they start to that's why this building is built on an angle over here.
A lot of people are mentioning the lion.
Scottish. Nova Scotia means New Scotland. So a lot of Scottish immigrants originally, and they ended up naming it New
It's
Scotland.
Celtic,
New
I think.
Scotia.
Celtic for New Scotland.
Yeah. This area is very temporary because of new development further on. So a lot of the little shops and everything, they brought them down here so they could still keep running.
Somebody asked if I speak any Finnish. My native tongue is English, but I'm trying to learn Finnish.
I think you count very good.
Yeah, I can count. Other than that, all I really know how to say well is Anteeksi sinä olen velho.
Duolingo.
If there was a hockey battle between Finland and Canada in a final, which one?
Finland. Always Finland. I used to say that while Finland gets knocked out, I could always go for Canada, but you know, I never end up doing it. I just stopped watching.
Somebody mentioned earlier when we were talking about Southern Ontario, they said if I want to see Finns, I'd just stay in Finland.
That's true. Which way should we go? Let's point out Alexander Keith. That's one of the historic properties we have in Halifax. Alexander Keith was.
Were you able to walk through it still?
Uh,
You used to be able to walk through.
I think so. We won't bother today, but Alexander Keith was a predominant businessman in Nova Scotia. That he actually started among others, I'm sure, a brewing company, and he started brewing beer, Indian Pale Ale, and he sold that to the British military, which brought it to India and gave to their troops while they were in India. So that was big business for him. And then he also ended up becoming mayor of Halifax several years later. And
I think 1870s.
yeah, I think he started Alexander Brewing Company in 1840s. And then he was also a predominant Mason in Nova Scotia. Brought a lot of the Grand Lodges of Freemasons together in Nova Scotia and really got the footing set with them, and was able to establish that here as well. Not personally, but he was a big integral part of it. This is also where they're, you can see over here with the development that I mentioned, they're replacing a lot of the old piers and putting in the new footings, and then they're gonna put those in eventually.
Somebody asked if we finished the Turkish pepper box.
Yes, it's all gone. Now I'm starting to miss some already. They ran out last week. But we did find two. I found two in Lex's school backpack the other day, so we're saving those.
Somebody asked if this is your favorite place in the town.
I like coming down to the waterfront. I got a lot of it's kind of like music. I like different kinds of music. I like different places as well.
We should get out of here if that's copyright. YouTube won't like it.
Yeah, we'll keep walking past the music. Halifax used to have quite a vibrant film industry until they raised the taxes, and then they just all left.
Somebody is asking me again if I speak Finnish. Just a little bit. I can't hold a conversation yet, but I'm close.
It's the effort that goes a long way. This again, a lot of these little shacks are temporary that they brought over here because of the development that they're putting up ahead over the last few years. So they built this little area in an old parking lot and started to put so people could still come and enjoy the waterfront.
Someone asked if you have any particular favorite national park around here.
National park in Nova Scotia is Kejimkujik. It's very nice. I've done a few trips there and hikes. It's more untouched than the rest of Nova Scotia. Most of Nova Scotia, there's very little government-owned land that you could use publicly. In Nova Scotia, you're always on somebody's property.
Oh no, somebody vandalized the wave. That sucks. Somebody asked if we're near where the Halifax explosion was.
Yes. Halifax explosion.
That's a ways down there.
Well, it was further in the harbour.
That was down in the basin.
No, it was in the neck of the harbour going into the basin.
I think they collided about here, and then one of them drifted down to the basin.
So what happens in the harbour here? It comes in from the ocean and comes into a very narrow. This is it here. like ships sailing in through here. That's Dartmouth on the other side. And as they sail in further, they come into a basin, which opens up into a nice large area. During the war, convoys would gather in Halifax and they would all anchor in the basin. And then convoys would head out from here to cross the Atlantic to try and get to Europe from here. And what happened with the Halifax explosion is a series of unfortunate events which caused the two ships to collide in the Narrows as one was coming in and one was going out. And they ended up catching fire, and one of them unfortunately was a munitions ship, which caused quite a large explosion. It was very devastating.
I think I just know one name was the Mont Blanc, and I don't know the name of the other one. I think it was the Mont Blanc that exploded. It was the largest explosion before nuclear bombs.
Yeah, largest man-made explosion. Coming up here on the left is our Maritime Museum of the Atlantic. One of the coolest things in here, they have a cage hanging in there where they used to have a capital punishment. They used to hang pirates. So what this one gentleman, it wasn't, basically he was trying to get home, so he went on a trip with a small boat, ended up killing the captain and some of the crew, and took over the boat, was captured, but they hung him, tarred him, feathered him, put him in a cage, and hung him from a tree in the park near the entrance of the harbour. And he basically, that cage hung there until his skeleton and everything just disintegrated. And then they were doing some landscaping, renovating, excavating, and they found part of his skeleton, so you can still see his skull is here in the museum. He was one of the last pirates that was hung in Halifax. But yeah, they used to hang the pirates at the entrance of the harbour. Or sorry, not just pirates. If you tried to desert from the Navy, they would hang you as well at the entrance of the harbour. So ships coming in from sea, all the young people would see that they were hanging there, and that was their punishment if they tried to get out of the Navy.
Some people are following us on a map. I'm seeing. Currently, we're right next to the Museum of the Atlantic. If you get lost. What's the most Finnish thing about Canada?
Me.
Is it possible to find a nice beach if you come to Nova Scotia?
Beautiful beaches, absolutely beautiful beaches. Nova Scotia is known as Canada's ocean playground. However, you have to read the fine print. The water is cold as hell. Even in the middle of summer, you only got about 4-degree water.
Somebody asked if we watch Ismo. He's the guy that did the...
Yes, I've seen a lot of this stuff. I particularly empathize with the starving kids in Africa. My mother did the same thing to me, that I had to eat all my food because kids were starving in Africa. And I did it.
My favorite is the earthworm.
Yeah, that's Sunflower. Sunflower, he's just an imposter, but that earthworm, he knows.
We were comparing it to Pirates of the Caribbean in the first scene when he sees the pirates hanging.
Yeah.
How many countries have you visited? Do you have a number?
I don't know if I have a number.
You're in the Navy for a while, so there's probably a few.
Over a dozen. I should add that up one of these days. This is one of our new developments they just put up, Queen's Marquee. So it's been going on for the last 4 years that they've been putting it up.
You can't get up that high.
It's partly condos, partly commercial, partly mostly commercial. And then there's going to be other businesses and stuff set up in there. Halifax is also getting big on putting in bike lanes right now. They're quite far behind as far as that kind of dynamic in the city is concerned. But so it's causing a bit of a rift with people because they're losing parking downtown and putting in bike lanes.
Somebody said that Halifax is a lot like Tampere. We said that wrong.
I didn't get a lot of time to spend in Tampere. I got to visit my grandparents' grave and go from Mustamakara. So that hopefully, so I only had about maybe 3 hours in Tampere.
Some people are saying they learn English watching your videos.
I don't know if that's a good idea. Neither my English or my Finnish is very good.
Somebody said that Halifax is in between Tampere and Helsinki in size.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I think if you just take Halifax, it's actually a little smaller than a lot of cities.
We got.
If you took the whole, because Halifax is a municipality, so if you took the whole municipality, it would be probably a little bit bigger.
I think we're at 470,000 population.
Yeah.
I think. That's one thing I really liked in Helsinki. So at the crosswalks and intersections, you get that sound that goes off for visually impaired, so they know to cross the street. And it's just a nice tick, 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 tick. Here they got this god-awful beep, 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 beep.
Somebody said that Helsinki is 500,000.
Yeah, it's a little bigger. And Helsinki is just, yeah, it can't compare.
Tim Hortons.
Oh, yeah, Tim Hortons.
Classic Canadian symbol.
Another business owned by an American company, though.
I think he's Brazilian now.
Oh, yeah.
I think they sold it again.
But yeah, Tim Hortons was a hockey player. And he retired from the hockey and started a coffee company. And then he sold it. And they kept using his name.
And now it's owned by a man in Brazil, and not a lot of Canadians are very fond of that.
Yeah, there's that crosswalk sign. Our condo that we had downtown here was next to an intersection that had that light that played that sound, and it would wake you up in the middle of the night. It's just a constant.
I got two questions here. Do you get fines for littering? And was Tim Hortons coffee better than 10 years ago? Is that true?
Yes, you can get fined for littering, but it's not enforced. I've never seen anybody get a fine for littering.
There's little signs that say like $840 in this area.
Yeah,
Stuff like
you're
that.
actually not even allowed to smoke in public in Nova Scotia now.
That's also not enforced.
Since they made marijuana legal, before marijuana became legal, they passed a law saying that you weren't allowed to smoke in public, so that way they could enforce the fact that you can't smoke marijuana in public either, obviously. But they don't. Nobody goes and tries to enforce it, unfortunately.
We should go in there and show some of the shops.
What was the other question? Littering.
Littering, and was Tim Hortons coffee better 10 years ago?
Ferry system we got that runs back and forth to Dartmouth as well. Quite a few ferries, very busy. Dartmouth used to be a very big bedroom community, so a lot of people, they bought houses in Dartmouth a lot cheaper and then just worked in Halifax.
Somebody asked if Tim Hortons coffee is better 10 years ago than it is now.
I don't know. The nice thing about Tim Hortons isn't good coffee. The nice thing about Tim Hortons is that it's consistent. Like if I go to Tim Hortons over here, or if I go to the Tim Hortons in Victoria, I'm gonna get the same cup of coffee, and that's really nice.
It's also a cultural connection as well. It tastes better in ice rinks.
Yes, you go to a hockey game, it's a Tim Hortons. Starbucks tastes like crap out in a hockey rink. We'll take a quick walk through here, but we're not. They don't really like us filming in these properties because they're owned.
You gotta get masks on.
And it's another. They also play music, so you could get so they could stop you from copyright.
I'll just be a second. I'll do this one-handed.
Let's see what we got here. Close the door on them. Oh, there we go. Yeah, this used to be a subway over here. And let's take a quick look over here. So this is part of historic properties. And basically it's an old warehouse that they used to have down on the waterfront here. So it's it's got the nice feel to it.
Nice barber shop in Halifax.
My barber shop there.
Best one.
Yeah. St. Louis. All right, let's head back out.
Elvis got his haircut there when he was on tour here. I think I missed a few questions.
How are you?
Is there any mass transport systems around Halifax?
The bus system is very good. There's no train system set up.
There used to be a tram. I'm not sure when that stopped, but we used to have a tram downtown, but that's gone now and been paved over.
Yeah, they really wanted to get rid of the tram so they could promote cars. The auto industry really got involved in that, so they wanted to really get people driving cars. So they put a big lobby on to get rid of trams, so that every once in a while when they dig up streets and redo pavement, you can still see the tracks and the cobblestones underneath the pavement. Actually, they don't have music playing out here right now, so that's kind of nice. This is a part of the historic properties in Halifax as well.
Somebody asked where we're walking to.
No general direction yet, just going along the waterfront here. How long's it been now?
It has been 46 minutes.
All right,
You can probably make it a little longer, and then you can cut it down into a smaller video.
all right.
And make
Let
it
us
just
know if we're getting bored.
Did I already ask about the coffee? Somebody asked if you have a favorite Finnish coffee brand.
I don't have a Finnish favorite coffee brand yet, but I still want to try as many of them as I can to maybe before I'm able to make that decision.
How long have you lived in Halifax?
On and off. I first came to Halifax in '92, but it's been on and off since then with the Navy and the military going back and forth to different places. So these are some of the older original buildings. This is one of the cool parts here. So these used to be warehouses. So this part at the top here.
This is the oldest building in North America, isn't it? I think it's this one.
Not the building. There's a business. We'll talk about the business later. But so these big windows here used to be bay doors. So when ships would come in, their goods would be shipped in barrels mostly. And at the top on that roof part up there, can you see that? On the roof there used to be a pulley up there. So they would, all the goods, they'd bring them up with the pulley and bring them into the different floors, levels on in the building.
We're running 115 viewers and we're up to 44 likes.
Nice. Thank you very much.
Is there any nice restaurants around here?
Yes, we just passed Salty's is a very nice restaurant. We were earlier past Bicycle Thief, that's a little newer. That's a very nice restaurant as well. The Cut Steakhouse, very nice. So this building is called the Collins Bank Building and actually housed the very first bank in North America.
I think the sign is still there. It's starting to fall apart, but...
So this here, it's not as clear as it used to be, but yeah, this was the very first bank in North America.
Somebody said that they find the lack of salmiakki disturbing. I think that's a Star Wars reference.
Me too.
Someone asked how far you got in the military.
I was there. I was a leading seaman and corporal in the army, a leading seaman in the Navy.
Leading seaman is master corporal, isn't it?
No, corporal.
Corporal.
Yeah, they don't call them seamen anymore. Now they're.
I think everything's just in rank forces. Everything's just switched over to the army ranks.
No, there's the Navy has. I think maybe it's sailor, but they don't call them seamen anymore.
Sexist, I think.
Yeah, so they're trying to get the gender thing straightened away. Actually, my very first ship was the first ship in the Canadian Navy that was running a trial run to have females on board ship.
Somebody mentioned, is cannabis legal there? Yes, you can buy it at liquor stores. I'll answer some of the shorter questions that are more about Canada and Nova Scotia in general.
And the cannabis?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I handle all the cannabis questions. Oh, jeez.
Someone asked if you speak French as well.
No, I never learned French, and school is mandatory French is mandatory in school, but when I was younger, I lived out of the country for more than 2 years, so it wasn't mandatory for me.
I know a little bit, but really I just know how to tell people I don't speak French.
Yeah, so for the amount of French that they teach you in schools, it's not enough. You'd have to take more courses on your own.
You can take school in French where for the first 5 years they teach you French and then you start school, the French immersion program. I was in that actually for a few years.
Yeah. But the problem with having Lex in French immersion, where his mother and I didn't speak French, it got to the point where we knew enough at least to know that he was just making stuff up to get through his homework. Yeah, there's Salty's there. It's a really nice restaurant.
Oh, also Cal's ice cream. No, the cannabis law is just is only able to be sold in liquor stores.
You're allowed to. I think you're allowed to have four plants of your own.
Yeah, I think it's been bumped down to 3 plants now.
But you're not allowed to distribute or sell. You're allowed to have it for personal use, up to 4 plants, and then everything else is regulated. Everything else is regulated just like alcohol would be.
Oh.
So it's exact same rules as alcohol. Age limits, driving, impairment, things like that.
Somebody said that he learned that Halifax is the oldest saltwater ferry system in North America.
Interesting. I did not know that.
I didn't know that either.
So it's a nice bit of history in Halifax. Anyways, I did a couple. I didn't. There was one video I did. I think it was my second reading Finnish video that I did.
Got a good shot with the Canada sign.
It was. I talked a little bit about my grandmother's arrival into Canada. She came over when she was 19 and went to Toronto to work as a domestic, so maid in some of the larger hotels. And then she got a job with a family, so she worked with a family for a while. But then her aunt or her grandmother, I had to verify, but she got sick in Finland, so she went back to Finland before the war, and ended up meeting my grandfather and staying in Finland and raised 4 boys. And then she told the boys as they grew up to move to Canada when they finished school. So one at a time, they all moved to Canada after they finished school. So my father came over when he was 21, 22, and then my mother moved over with her family when she was, I think, 9 or 10. So,
Well, I'm just gonna mute the microphone for a sec. Okay, we're back.
anything specific? Or?
No, they're just. I've seen a few general questions about it.
Yeah. So the show itself that I'm on, it's so that's getting a lot of attention, I guess. But the production company, the crew, the networks, everybody puts so much work into producing that show that I'm not gonna comment on the show at this point, because that ball's in their court that they're running right now, and they've done a fantastic job. I'm overly impressed with how the show looks and is being run so far. So I'm not going to comment on anything of that nature. So I just want to let that play out and enjoy the show. It's the best season ever. So it's going to be really good. I'm even waiting to see what's going to happen. Actually, it's been since we finished filming that January 2020.
2019,
Well,
isn't it? Or yeah, they were here in
January
2020.
2020 was the last time we filmed on that, but really stay tuned. It's going to be really good.
People were saying the Canada sign is cool. That was put here for the Canada 150th anniversary for our independence from the UK.
And also the thumbnail. What should we do now? You want?
I think we should walk over to the dockyard, show the Navy ships. Yeah. I think a new one just got in a couple days ago.
There's not much else up there, though.
Well, we can loop around.
Yeah. All right. Anything to talk about as on our way?
I'm scrolling through. We're up to 118 people, so stuff's coming in pretty fast.
Yeah, Okay, we got a little bit of a walk here. We'll walk over towards the dockyard, but so there's not much to see between here and there. So if you have any questions, throw them out. We'll see what we can do. Rex will moderate as we go.
Somebody asked if there's any particular food Halifax is known for.
Donaires. Halifax is known for their donaires. It's mostly, I think it's Greek, Lebanese.
Yeah, it was brought over by the meat was brought over by the Lebanese, and the sauce was brought over by the Greeks.
So essentially, it's this. Traditionally, it's a huge pile of lamb meat that they put on a big spit, and they cook it, and then they shave it off as it cooks, and wrap it in a pita with some onions, tomatoes, and a sweet garlic sauce. It's really good at 3 in the morning.
Somebody asked if both your parents are from Tampere. It's just your father, isn't it?
My father's originally they were father's family. They were originally in Viipuri, and ended up moving up to Kuopio. It might be Kuopio, but where originally the Rissanen family, where they had moved from, and then they moved down towards Tampere, just out of Tampere in Linnanvuori, Nokia area. My mother was. My father always made fun that she's a Savolainen, so whatever area that is. And then they also moved around with work and family and everything else. So they spent some time in the. Actually, I think it was just before they came to Canada. They spent some time in the archipelagos there, Swedish speaking areas.
Somebody mentioned a while ago, and I missed it. That the French in Canada is similar to Swedish in Finland. I'd say that's kind of accurate.
Yes, but the spoken French in Canada is very different than the spoken French in France.
It's kind of like someone speaking Finnish to someone from Estonia, almost. Yeah. Where it's understandable, kind of, but not fully. Oh, noonday gun. You should talk about that.
Did you hear that? I don't know.
I think it might have picked up.
Anybody heard that? So every day at 12 o'clock, Citadel Hill that we mentioned earlier had the noonday gun. So every day at noon they fire a gun off. So that was to let the city know that it was 12 o'clock. But it's been going on ever since.
I think if we walk up around here, we can walk up by the dockyard and then go up through Parade Square and then up and end it on the hill.
How's better?
I can't check. Hold on. 57%. We're good. Yeah, we can go another hour.
So these two buildings we just passed on the waterfront here, built right on the water, which is kind of neat. The pillars they have set up. But,
they're also hydro-powered.
Yeah.
So
Hydro-powered buildings, very cool setup. But then they're commercial buildings, and then over here the casino in Halifax.
There's a little bit of wind, so I'm not sure how the microphone is doing. Oh, there's another Rissanen here.
Look. Yeah, so this is the casino in Halifax. The really nice setup, but you know, other than gambling, that's about. Well, it used to have a really nice restaurant, but it's nothing great anymore.
Somebody asked if you ever force people to try to sell me.
Yes.
I could say I do that sometimes. Whenever we get a new box, we'll bring a bit to school. No one ever likes it the first time.
So again, this is our Dartmouth side over here on the other side of the harbour, and then there's two bridges that cross the harbour over from Dartmouth to Halifax. So this ship, you can see the ship up over top of that building. The ship is actually raised out of the water. It's not that big. So it's up on a synchro lift right now for maintenance. But that's one of our Canadian patrol frigates. We got 12 of those. They just went through a midlife refit now, so they should be good for another 15 years. And our new frigates got delayed another 10 years now.
Probably.
But they're still building 15, or is it 12? Arctic patrol vessels. They're building those. We got 2 in the water already, and they got the 3rd one being rolled out now.
Somebody asked if I'm planning on ever moving to Finland. I'm planning to go over there for military service in a few months, and then I might stick around for a while if I turn out to love it over there, which I'm planning to.
This was when they built the casino. They built this amphitheater, and it's when they originally built it. It used to be all open here, and there used to be steps going down a little ways, and so they would be able to have like little concerts. And the way the ceiling is built, I don't know how that's coming out of the sound. Like standing in here, the sound just echoes down. How's that sound on the phone?
I can't tell. Yeah.
But then standing in the middle of it. Bring the camera over there, see how it sounds. And smack your foot. So basically, it sounds like somebody talking over here. They hear somebody over there, just like if you're standing next to each other. That's technically how it's supposed to work.
They're gonna say you probably hear my footsteps. Well, you can see one of the boats now. Well, let me catch up to you.
These ones are, they're probably 20, 25 years old now, or just coastal patrol vessels, and they do a lot of work up north as well. Yeah, too bad we didn't have a ship a little closer, but. Anybody still interested, or what's going on? Not too much to see on this end of the waterfront, but.
We're just walking for a while now, so if anyone has any questions, they can put them in. That's 67 likes now. Running around 90 viewers. Sometimes it'll jump up to 100 for a while.
I guess we could keep running if we'll take a walk up to the top of Citadel Hill, and we could keep filming till we head up there. But
let's loop around past the Marriott, and then we'll come up in the middle, so we don't have to get over there and get noisy. Wait, is the lobster still there? No. There used to be a giant metal lobster hanging from the side of this building. I thought it was back there on the side.
yeah, he's gone.
Yeah. Someone asked where all the people are.
Yeah, this area of the waterfront is very quiet. It's the very end of the as far as the development side of the waterfront is concerned, other than the casino. So there's not a lot of foot traffic on this end. Plus, it's a little bit cooler Sunday afternoon, so it's not a lot of people out walking.
Some people are saying they have to leave now. I'm guessing it's probably dinner time. The viewers are going to start to drop.
We could probably finish this off. There's not too much else going on. Maybe another time we'll do the Citadel Hill and everything, but
Yeah,
not
you
gonna
can
leave everybody hanging on just while we walk for the next 10 minutes. But yeah, that's a nice short look of the Halifax waterfront area, and you know, just wanted to. Actually, that's one last thing I wanted to mention. I did have a big plan on what I wanted to do for a 1,000 subscriber when I finally hit that big milestone number. Then I figured that was going to be around maybe November, December that we might hit that number. Then all of a sudden we managed to pop with a couple videos, the Speaking Finnish video and then the 10 Things About Finland just popped, and the subscriber count really jumped. So thank you very much. I really appreciate all you being here, but I really wasn't expecting to hit that many subscribers this soon. So but wanted to say thank you for that. And that yeah, I think that was about it, but maybe we'll have to plan something more special if we ever hit 10,000 in a couple years. So but I did have a few things planned that I wanted to do. I have some footage of my very original YouTube video, which I think was 1997. I think YouTube was only like
2005 YouTube came out.
No, it was earlier than that.
No, it's 2005 because YouTube just hit 15 years.
Oh, it was before that. I don't know. We'll have to look it up. Oh, yeah, you're right. 2000. Yeah, so it was 2006. I made my very first YouTube video, and I still have a copy of it. It's pretty bad, but it was interesting to see. So I was thinking of doing something with that with my 1,000 subscriber count, but now maybe I'll have to save it for a 10,000 subscriber count video that we'll have to plan if we ever hit that number in a few years. But thanks to everybody that has subscribed and has been following, commenting. I really appreciate all the comments and feedback. I really enjoy doing these videos. They're mainly just for myself and Lex, for prosperity and what we enjoy doing, and a little bit of personal and family history of who we are, where we are now, where we've come from, and where we're going. And 30, 40, 50, 100 years from now, it'll be more interesting to be able to look back on this stuff. So that's what we're always thinking when we do these videos. And but if people could enjoy them in the meantime, I'm really glad you're here. So thank you very much for watching this first live stream, and comment down below, say hi, and thanks for being here. Take care. We'll see you in the next video.